Okay, are we live? Am I live? Am I live? Guess we'll find out here in a few seconds. Let me know if you guys can hear me and stuff, 'cause I just want to make sure we got audio and everything technically working before I jump into everything. Before I get going for real. Glad to see we got some viewers already, man. Appreciate it. It's pretty cool. I tried to schedule a little ahead of time before I started. I tried to give people a little bit of a heads up. Just try to do my best here. So somebody in the chat, just let me know if you can hear me. Everything's good. All right, cool. Looks like. So Socrates, the cab driver, what's going on? Obai Merched, what's going on? Reflect. Bunch of other folks here. Looks like they're joining. Appreciate it. So how's everybody doing? How's everybody's day doing? Where's everybody from? What's going on, man? So we got somebody from Greece, I believe, or somewhere in Europe here. So it's pretty cool, man. It's cool to have people from all over the world, you know. It's pretty crazy. Thank you, Lynn. I'm glad you can hear me. Glad everything's good. Hope everybody's day is going well. I did some work today and now I'm kind of just chilling out, relaxing. Figured I'd do some drawing. I did a drawing earlier. Maybe I'll show you guys that in a few minutes. I want to see if we're going to get some more folks in here before I get going for real. Svetko. Sorry, I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name correctly, but it's good to see you here from Serbia. Trisha from Kentucky, I believe. Thanks for joining. Brent, what's going on, man? I cannot hear you. I cannot hear you typing, unfortunately. Or fortunately. I don't know. Either way. Kumar, welcome. Thanks for joining. Sorry, I'm just pronouncing the names that I can pronounce. I'm not going to try not to butcher anybody's name. But from India, cool. Thanks for joining. So check it out, man. I'm going to draw this Swan. You know, I thought about drawing Deadpool. Somebody's been really wanting me to draw Deadpool lately, and I want to get some more practice in before I do something like that. So, yeah. Okay, Greek American living in Greece a few years. All right, that's pretty cool. It's pretty sweet. How is Greece compared to America? Like, I mean, obviously it's probably way different, but it seems pretty interesting. I'm always interested in other places around the world and stuff. SFS Eagle. Hello, I remember that one video you made, How to Sketch for Beginners. Glad it was helpful. Thanks for joining. Hi from Germany. Singe. Thanks for joining. Appreciate it. All right, let's check it out. I'm going to start sketching here. Just going to draw the swan. I don't know, man. I always go through my photos of wildlife. I have a bunch of photos. A lot of these are like stock photos, but they're free to use commercially. They're not my photos, unfortunately. I kind of like using only my photos for the most part, but it's not always possible. But usually that's what I like to do. But for drawings like this in my sketchbook, it's just practice. All right, so I'm gonna start focusing here. I wanna make sure, get this thing blocked in kind of the size that I want. Where am I from? I'm in California right now. Originally, I'm born and raised in Mississippi, southern Mississippi, right on the Gulf Coast. Can't stay. Nah, no worries, Brent. Thanks for stopping by, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for watching, supporting all this time, man. Really appreciate it. It's always good to see you around. Hello, air conditioning unit. That's a funny name. Talking to an air conditioning unit. Pressy Swain. Thanks for joining. Hi from Mexico. XG says, thanks for joining. Cool, man. Appreciate it. So I'm just gonna I'm trying to block this in with some straight lines. So this is kind of the body I'm thinking. It's gonna come down something like this. Just trying to get the proportions pretty close off the beginning. Maybe the tail sticks out a little bit there. And this goes way up, I think. Hello, the Stovetop Ninja. Thanks for joining. I was just telling everyone how I was thinking of drawing Deadpool today, and I don't feel confident enough yet. I need some more practice. I did a drawing earlier and it came out really well, and I wanted to do some more practice again before I really jump into something like a drawing of Deadpool, because it's not something I normally do. So I'm just trying to get some more practice in here. Where do you get most of your supplies? I get them mostly on Amazon for the most part, just pretty simple. See, I haven't missed another question here. What number pencil do you like to start with, and do you have a brand preference? I do not have a brand preference for like pencils. Right now I'm using an HB pencil. I mean, you can use a B, a 2B, HB. You could use a 2H, something in that range, 2H, H, HB, B, something like that. Yeah, I'll show you guys real quickly here the drawing I did earlier, like an hour or two ago. And it's way better than what I did last night on the stream. So this is what I did earlier. And see, I did the hatching, if you guys see here. This is what I was talking about yesterday. Doing the whole drawing with just up and down. I mean, it looks really cool, I think. It's just a different style. And you can see I kind of thickened some of the lines here. This is what I was trying to do yesterday, and I didn't get it as well as I had hoped for. And originally when I started this drawing, I was going to do this all white, because this is a white seagull. And then it just looked so cool just having it be black, so I kind of just kept it the tone of the paper. So this one came out really well today, so hopefully I can do something similar with this swan. So I feel like I'm starting to get back into a rhythm, starting to figure out what I like. So that's what I'm just trying to figure out with these live streams and doing these drawings every day. Just trying to get back into a groove. I haven't really, before I started doing these live streams, I wasn't really drawing all that much. So I'm just trying to get back into it a little bit. Looks slightly better than yesterday. Yeah, I mean, I think so. Yesterday's was kind of a mess. I think it was all over the place. I mean, it came out okay, but it wasn't as cool looking as that one, I think, in my opinion anyway. Whatever my opinion is worth, I don't know, but it's on my own drawing at least. So I'm just trying to do a quick block in here. Thanks, Eagle. I appreciate it. Yeah, I like doing I like just sticking with one way sometimes. I think it's a cool style, just like having it go all one way. Because then you focus on the value and you let that try to create the form. And it's just a different approach. Like, it's something I've just been playing with a lot. And I've seen other artists do it and stuff. It's kind of where I got the idea from. But I really like that look. It's kind of a cool style. I think it helps kind of bring some sort of style to my drawings if I do it a lot. So it's something right now that I'm just kind of playing around with. I'm going to try it on this one as well. We'll try to do like all one way hatching. And I could do it all sideways if I wanted to as well, but I don't know, up and down seems more natural, so I'm going to give that a shot again. We'll see if we can make it work with this drawing. These curves, man. These curves are getting away from me. So let's get rid of this. So now I like how I got the head and the neck, I think, so far. So now I'm gonna redo the body to kind of go with that. See if I missed any questions here. Nope. All right, thanks for joining, everybody tuning in. Hood Boy and I can't pronounce these names, folks, sorry, but I see you, man. I see all the people tuning in and commenting, so definitely appreciate it. How's everybody's day going? How's everybody doing? Where's everybody from? It's evening here in California, or it's 6 o'clock now. So after this, I'm gonna eat some dinner, of course, and just kind of chill out for the day. But I just wanted to get a cool little drawing in here for you guys. Hopefully this will be the best one so far the last few days, hopefully. I've been kind of, I don't know, the last 2 nights, these last 2 live streams, I wasn't very happy with how I did the drawings, so I'm hoping I can bring this one together a little better. A little bit better than the previous ones. If you guys saw the last 2 days of live streams. If you haven't, go check those out after this live stream. Got a bunch of drawing videos on my channel and stuff. There's a lot to check out on my channel, man. I got probably close to 1,000 videos now, but a lot of them are pretty old from over the last few years, but a lot of the recent ones are pretty good. And for anybody that's new here, I also do painting. I like doing watercolor painting recently, so that's really like my main thing that I like to do. Other than drawing, I really love doing watercolor painting, like travel sketching, stuff like that. All right, so I'm feeling pretty good about this drawing. I'm not sure what you guys think, but I'm feeling pretty good with this little block in here. I think we'll probably do some of these reflections as well. It's kind of cool. Squiggle some of those in, but even these horizontal lines, I'm going to shade them vertically. It's really going to create a unity throughout the whole hatching process of this shading, I think. But I'm just putting in some of the value for now. And once I start lining this in, I'll zoom it in for you guys so you can see a little bit closer. Really love this new camera I got, man. Really cool. All right, we got someone from the Philippines, somebody from Vancouver, Washington. Beautiful up there. Washington's really beautiful. '66 Lane, what's going on? It's my dad. My dad's on the stream. It's pretty cool. Las Vegas. It's pretty cool. Must be weird living in. I couldn't imagine living in Las Vegas. I'm trying to think of like how that would be. It seems kind of weird. I mean, it seems like it'd be different. I'm sure there's more to Vegas than like the Strip and all that stuff. But I've been to Vegas once, I think, for work. I'm gonna start doing some ink here, and I'm gonna outline the whole thing. I think that's the way I'm gonna go about this. Actually, I'm gonna lighten it up first because it's a little dark. So I'm just using an eraser and kind of rolling it over, drawing, lightening it up, and then gonna hit it with some ink here. We can zoom this in. So when I start like inking it or starting a drawing or something, I kind of just intuitively start in a certain place. What's for dinner? I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna eat for dinner. I have no idea. That's a good question. But when I start, it's very intuitive. Like, I know a lot of beginners are like, how do you start? Like, where's a good place to start? It's like whatever feels right to you. That's kind of where you start. So yeah, just try not to overthink it. All right, we got some questions here. I want to get those in. As an artist, I think drawing live helps force you to practice. There's another artist I love. Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely practicing. Do you have anything planned for the future? Do you want to learn something new? Learn something new. Not really. Not that I can think of. Kind of just getting better at what I already do. That's really what I'm planning. I want to travel and stuff. Obviously, I can't right now because of the whole situation the world is in that we're all tired of hearing about. But yeah, I would love to travel a lot more and just do painting and stuff, and drawing and painting and traveling. But I can't think of anything new. I'm trying to think of like what I want to learn. Yeah, I think I'm just trying to get better at what I already do, because I feel like I'm not that great at it yet. What camera do you use for this stream? I'll post it in the chat or something. Give me a few minutes. It's hard to say the name of it, but all right, cool. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. So I'm starting out with a thin line to begin with, and I'll end up varying it as I go along. I'll make it thicker in some parts, but for now, it's a very thin line. This is an 03 micron pin, so it's pretty thin. It's kind of like watching paint dry, isn't it? Like watching someone draw like this. I always feel like it is. So I'm just trying to get a basic kind of outline. Nothing too crazy, nothing too detailed or fancy. I'm trying to keep it a little bit lighter in the areas where it's very light on the photograph. There's like a lot of highlights there, so I'm gonna try to keep it a little bit lighter there, kind of vary it a little bit more. I'm really going to make it thicker around more of the shadowed areas. I'll get into that a little bit later. I think it'll really make it more dynamic. Like the drawing I showed a few minutes ago that I did earlier, you know, just kind of having it thicker in some areas. So sorry folks if I forget to like move the camera or something. I'm a one-man team right now, so I'm trying to I gotta remember to move the camera and all that stuff. Sometimes I forget. So I'll do my best to remember. All right, so now I have like a basic outline here. Very, very basic. Looks pretty boring, but that's what's gonna happen at the very beginning. It's gonna look wrong, it's gonna look boring. But once I start adding the shading and more thicker lines in certain places, kind of weighing it down in some places, then we're gonna get more of what I'm looking for. All right, so just want to check the chat here. Drawing water ocean is difficult for me. Any tips? You know, I don't know. I haven't really drawn water or ocean that much either, so I don't really have any tips, unfortunately. I try to just draw what I see, and you know, you're not always going to get it right the first time or second time or whatever. I mean, it's going to take a lot of practice. But yeah. Why is it that I can sketch animals much easier than people? I have the same thing. I think it's because you don't have to be as strict with the anatomy, I don't think. I think drawing animals, it's definitely easier, especially something like this where the face isn't as critical, you know. But when you draw humans, like we're used to seeing humans all the time, so like we can tell if something's off just a very tiny bit, but yeah. Anyway, so yeah. I think that's my take on it. I mean, I think you know, when you think about it, if you think of people that you find attractive or beautiful, normally like if you judge people, like you can look at somebody in like 2 seconds, and right away you'll know if you find them attractive or not. Like, how are we able to do that so quickly? It's just like an evolutionary thing, and I think it's the same for when you look at a drawing or something and you can tell right away that it's off. You know, it's like we're so able to see things that are incorrect very quickly. All right, so I'm going to start shading it, and then I think maybe after the shading or while I'm shading it, I'll start thickening some of this outline. And I'm kind of planning that in my mind. I think down here it's going to get a lot thicker. In certain areas around the neck and the head, it's going to get thicker. It's going to stay thinner over here where the highlights are, in the highlighted areas. So I'll show you guys, like down here I can really kind of thicken the line a bit. So down here I can just make it a little more dynamic. And when I do that around the rest of the drawing, it'll really bring everything together. So I'm going to start some of the, just trying to figure out where to start shading, because most of this is all in shadow. So just trying to figure that out. Usually I start in the darkest areas. Just try to block those in pretty quick. Most of the black spots, the darkest areas. I think maybe I'll do this wing first. It's kind of a good area to kind of warm up, I think. So like I said, I'm going to do all the cross-hatching like one way. So it's going to be interesting. I'm going to try to make it work like on the previous drawing I showed you guys earlier. So I'm gonna go up and down for this whole entire drawing. Might seem kind of boring, but I don't know, I think it's kind of cool, and I think it's gonna unify the shading. It's just kind of an interesting style. And I want to let the lightness and the darkness create like the form. So you guys can see there how I'm just like overlaying some of the hatching and stuff. I think with humans you have to focus so much on expression, it's difficult. Yeah, I mean that's true too. It's definitely part of it. And expressions can be so subtle. So if you get like one thing off, like you're gonna see it right away. No doubt. No doubt. So I'm debating if I should use any of the white pins on this drawing. I'm gonna wait till after I shade all of this first and see if I want to use any of the white pins. I don't know, I just kind of want to show you guys with these, with the way I'm shading and the way I do these drawings. It's like, there's no rules to this stuff. Like you can just do whatever you want and like really experiment, have fun with it, and try new things. And see what works, what doesn't work. You know, I've tried so many different things over the months and weeks, and can't be afraid to just give things a shot. Are you going to color it with pens only? Yeah, probably. Probably just pens. That's my goal for this, I think. Are you finished art school? Yeah. I went to school for graphic design years ago. So I never even really went to art school, technically. Okay. Just keep going here, keep it moving. Oh, you guys can't see that, sorry. Guys gotta be patient with me if I end up drawing outside the range of the camera here. Still getting used to, this is only the third time I've used this camera on a live stream, so still getting used to it. So I appreciate it. So you can see how it's all still pretty unified. I mean, it's really in the early stages still, but just trying to keep the lines evenly spaced for now. Just trying to get an even tone for the most part, and then, you know, start putting in these little subtleties that I've kind of already put in. Start worrying about those a little bit later. It gets darker underneath here, so I'll start putting more lines closer together where it gets darker, you know, like in this area and then under here. Slowly start darkening that over time, but I'm not too worried about it right now. As I'm doing it now, of course. But have you ever tried to draw with outlines only? with outlines but only shading. I'm not sure what you mean. Draw with outlines but only shading. This is already turning out way better than I expected. I've always been a fan of using hatching for the shading. Thanks, appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty new to this kind of like pen and ink stuff, so I'm just having fun, man. I'm just playing around. I really don't know what I'm doing, and I think that's the fun of it for me. That's the thing I've learned is like it doesn't have to be perfect. As long as you start getting the values correct, which I'm gonna start focusing on more. You know, I'll start making it darker down here. And you'll slowly just start to see this form coming together. Just from vertical lines. It's pretty cool how it works. Pretty cool. I think this pen's starting to die on me already. These things don't last very long, it seems. These micron pens. I don't know, I haven't had much luck with them lasting very long. Does anybody else have this problem with these kind of pens? I just do like a few drawings with these, like I don't know, 20 drawings or something. Maybe not even that many. Maybe it's the way I'm holding it or something, I don't know, but I know on their website, I looked up on their website, they said you're supposed to hold it at 90 degrees, like straight up, and like who draws like this, like straight up and down? Nobody draws like that. Like I don't get, yeah. It means without lines, but with shading. Yeah, I mean, I've always had, I think you always have to have lines, like you have to be able to block it in, but yeah, when I'm doing like graphite, like yeah, I'm more focused on just shading with I don't outline everything. This is just a particular style with pen and ink that I do, or that I'm trying to do. So I'm just taking my time here. Yeah, like I was saying, like I don't know how they recommend holding it at 90 degrees. Like nobody draws straight up and down. At least I don't. I don't hold my pen like this. You know, I hold it at an angle, like a normal human being. I don't know. Is that not the right way to do it? Am I weird? So I'm just looking at my photograph. I'm trying to, you know, I think I got some of the wing off a little bit or something, like the line of it, but I'm not too worried about it. I'll just keep going. Doesn't have to be perfect, just has to be done. So I'm going to leave like a small edge here for that highlight, just like I did on this other wing. So now we got some overall tone for the most part. Let's check this thing out. So there we go. You start to see it coming together once it's zoomed back out. And then once I start adding these small subtleties, these changes, then we'll start to see it coming together. style is like I'm just is just focused on like the value basically, like I said earlier. You know, it's just focused on lights and darks and the Prismacolor fine liners. Huh? I don't think I've ever used those. I'll have to definitely check those out. Yeah, I'll definitely check those out next time because I'm not too happy with these microns so far. I mean, they're good when you first get them, but I don't know. Maybe it's this paper. Maybe this paper is too rough and it kind of destroys the tips or something. I don't know. Have you ever considered switching to digital art? I would never switch to digital art. There's no way I could switch to digital art. I've tried digital art and I do enjoy it sometimes. You know, I paint on the iPad every now and then, but I could never switch to digital art. There's no way I could just only do digital art. That ain't gonna happen, son. That just ain't gonna happen. I like feeling the medium. I like feeling it, and digital is just like, you know, edit, undo. You know, like I can't do that, man. I like making mistakes. I like being able to hold it, feel it, crumble it up, throw it away, burn it, you know, all that kind of stuff. And with digital art, it's just, you know, it's not the same to me. You don't get the same feel from it. But yeah, I've done some digital paintings and stuff, like master copies and stuff on digital painting. Let's make sure I didn't miss any comments here. I think we're good. I think I haven't missed anything. If I end up missing your question or something, just post it again. Mine lasts pretty long. Do you keep them in a cup pointed down? No, I don't. Maybe I should. I just lay them flat on the table like this. Like I just leave them on the table. So maybe that's my problem. I'm a pencil sketcher and I like that I can erase. How do you fix mistakes with a pen? You don't. That's that's the tricky thing with a pen. You don't really, especially on like toned paper, you don't really fix the mistakes. You just roll with it. You just go for it. That's kind of what I've been going with lately. I kind of just, if I make mistakes, then it's a mistake and I roll with it. All right, I want to get this blocked in more. We gotta get going here. So I'm just adding a little bit of subtleties and stuff, little feathers and darker tones here and there. I gotta be careful not to go too dark where it's not dark. It's very easy to overdo it when you're not looking at the whole drawing as one. Like this is the darkest stuff down here. So I gotta pay attention and keep this relatively, you know, the value relatively the same. The relationship the same, I should say. So now I can come in. This is where I can darken or thicken up some of the line work down here, like I was talking about earlier, because we're kind of losing some of that outline, so I want to bring it back. And it's already pretty thick there on the reference photo, so this is a good place to kind of really bring some weight to the bird in the water, kind of ground it. And then as it goes up, I can just kind of fade it like that. So you see it just like makes it a little more dynamic. Like I was saying earlier, just a little more dynamic. Same here, I can like darken this line a bit. Maybe thicken this part here. Hey, how do you match the values accurately? A lot of practice. You just do your best you can. That's what I'm doing. You can one thing you can do is turn your photo black and white. That's kind of an easy trick. I didn't do that this time. I did it in the past. But yeah, turn your photo black and white, and then you can more easily see the values and compare. So we're just going up the neck here. And I'm not going the direction of the neck. I'm going straight up and down, just like the rest of the drawing. So it makes it a little bit trickier, but it's still gonna have a cool effect, I think, in the end. So there we go, pretty much blocked in with some tone. And now I'm just gonna, just start darkening areas what need to be darkened. So let's get in here and do that. So really working on that core shadow going up the neck. So there's a lot of reflected light over here and reflected light on this side. So this core shadow kind of goes up the middle of the neck for the most part. That's what I'm focusing on now. Trying to keep these lines straight up and down. This is pretty tricky. This is pretty tricky because it's such a weird angle. So I think stylistically, I'm going to. Actually, I'm gonna wait. Yeah, I'm gonna wait on that. Actually, I was thinking about thickening some of the lines. I think I'm gonna thicken the line right under the neck, possibly there and on this side of the head, and then also down at the bottom here. That's what I'm kind of planning in my head at the moment, but I'm not 100% sure yet, so I don't want to do it just yet. But sometimes I think about a lot of things before I do it because I want to make sure. That that's what I want to do before I do it. Especially with pen and ink, there's no turning back. So once I thicken a line or darken a line, that's it. That's all. It's game over. It's game over. There's no going back. So looking pretty good, I think. Looking pretty good. It's kind of floating. We need some water here eventually. What is your favorite medium? I really love watercolor. I think that's my favorite. Watercolor and pen and ink. Those are my favorites. And then probably graphite after that. Will you do more live lessons, especially while you were you were all sheltering in. Yeah, I mean, this is my third night in a row doing this, so yeah, I definitely plan on doing more if I can. So yeah, definitely stay tuned. Can only do them in the evening. I have a day job during the day working from home, so I can only do them in the evening around this same time every day. All right, so I'm gonna thicken the line here. Let's just go for it. Let's try it out. See what happens. So I'm just fading that up a little bit. Might be a little too thick, but it's all right. It looks all right. I'm gonna do the same thing under this neck a little bit. Maybe just a little bit there, not too much. And then I want to give it some thickness on this side. Basically the reason for like thickening the lines there, like varying the line width, it just gives it a little more rhythm, movement around the drawing. You know, it's like a stylistic choice as well. And I just kind of intuitively do it, you know. I don't know. It's hard to explain like where to thicken it, where to leave it thin, where to like let it just, you know, do its thing or disappear. Like over here, it kind of disappears in the light. Yeah, it's hard to really teach something like that. Like this wing is kind of overlapping, or I made it look like it's overlapping, so I'm kind of just thickening that up a bit, even though it's white there. So yeah, all this stuff is kind of like, it's just very intuitive. Am I making a living from art? No, I'm not. I'm a graphic designer for a company. I have a full-time day job. This is just like a side thing that I do right now. I would love to make full-time living from it, and I'm working on that. I think it's very difficult. I think nowadays teaching is like a big part of it. It's definitely a good way to go if you have the skills to do it. A lot of people say they like my videos, they like how I teach and stuff, so I try to do it when I can, you know, with videos like this. And yeah, I mean, uploading to YouTube helps. YouTube videos definitely help, but it's not a whole lot of money, honestly, per month, you know. It's definitely not enough to make a living from, unless you're living like very, very, if you're living like in a van or something, you know, very humbly. You could make a living that way, but it's very difficult unless you get like a lot of views every day. And yeah, it's very difficult. And it can always change. It could always change overnight, and then you don't have income anymore. So YouTube's pretty tricky, making a living from it. I wish I could do it, because then I would just make videos all the time and make a living that way. It'd be really sweet, but it's definitely not that easy. And selling art is a whole different thing. I mean, just because you have good art doesn't mean you're good at selling it, and I've definitely learned that. You know, I haven't sold much art, but if you go to my website and look at my art, it's pretty decent stuff. You know, I've had people say, wow, your art's really great and all this stuff, blah, 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 but it doesn't mean you can sell it, you know. That's a whole different You know, marketing and all that's a whole different business, whole different thing. So, yeah, it's tricky making a living as an artist. You have to really understand marketing. You know, there's so many artists out there, you look at their work and it's not even that great work, but they're full-time artists and they're making a lot of money from it. But their artwork isn't that great. And then you have really great artists who barely sell any work. It's all about marketing is what it comes down to. I mean, really. It's how you position yourself and how you come across to other people, and yeah, how you tell your story and all that kind of stuff, you know. And it's tough, man. It's tough trying to learn all that and figure it out, and it's stuff I'm still working on. It's definitely stuff I'm still working on. Okay, I think a lot of this needs to be darker. Yeah, I think this pin is getting destroyed. Ah, it's so annoying. Because then I'm not going to really have a good liner to use. I have an 02 and I have an 08. I'm going to need to order some more pins. If you'd like to donate to my new pin fund, I'd appreciate... No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I got plenty of that from the other live streams from very generous people watching me. Really appreciate it. If you guys have any questions or anything, just let me know. What do you do as a graphic designer? I've been curious about that for a while. You know, I do websites. I build websites. I use like WordPress for the most part. I definitely got the wing off. I definitely drew the wing incorrectly, but I'm not too worried about it. I do websites, social media postings, flyers, logos, anything you think of. I do photography, videography, animations. You know, I kind of do a lot for my job. You know, After Effects, Premiere Pro, Photoshop, InDesign, Illustrator, creating vectors, promotional stuff. I've done advertisements in national magazines, 2-page spread ads and stuff. Yeah, I mean, I just do a lot of stuff like that. I don't currently do any magazine advertisements, but I did for like 2 or 3 years in a row, every month, for our company. So yeah, I just have a lot of experience doing all that kind of stuff, logos, graphics, like anything, everything for any kind of graphics, companies, all that stuff, websites, web design, logo design, flyers. All right, so I think this is coming together pretty nicely, if I do say so myself. Thanks everybody for tuning in. If you have to go, I appreciate it. I understand. But Brent says, oh yeah, it's definitely marketing, man. If the world can be convinced to Jackson Pollock is the best painter ever. Yeah, I mean, exactly. You know, he just threw some paint on a thing and it was like revolutionary, you know. It's like, okay, I don't really get it, but okay. If some people get it, that's fine. You know, whatever. What pins do you need? I'm just kidding. I don't really need pins. You know, I have a whole bunch of these micron pins right here, but they're different sizes. Like this is an 01, so it's a little bit smaller than the 03. You know, I have a whole set of different sizes, but the one I used to like to use was 05. This was like my favorite one, and it's just completely dead. When I try to use it on the paper, it doesn't really work. Okay, now it's working a little bit, but there's still ink there. It still works, but then on the paper, it's Yeah, it seems to be working now, but you have to hold it straight up and down, and yeah, I need to find some different liners to use, because these aren't working for me. Yeah, I don't know. All right, yeah, so I think I caught up on the comments there. And I can feel this one's just getting rougher and rougher, this tip. So I know it's not gonna last much longer. Let's see, where else do I need to darken? I'm gonna try to bring this wing down just by using some value. I don't know, something like that. Alright, I think I'm gonna do the water, because this swan needs to be sitting in something. It needs some environment, so let's work on that a little bit. Can you add some baby swans? No, probably not. It would take me a while to draw that out right now, and I didn't really plan the composition for that, and I don't have any references for baby swans, unfortunately. You know, most artists, it's very difficult to just draw something off the top of your head. I think people really misunderstand how artists work. You know, I would have to draw swans a lot to be able to just draw it off the top of my head, especially like creating like baby swans or something. Like, most artists need some kind of reference to work from. Oh, sorry guys, I'm here drawing and I'm not even on showing you guys. You know, you definitely need some kind of reference material, because to be able to draw something from your right off the top of your head, I mean, you got to have a lot of experience of drawing it. You know, you have to draw it a lot to really understand it, be able to draw it in different positions, and all this stuff takes a lot of effort. I think a lot of people don't understand that for the most part. Okay, so all this needs to be darker. I could almost use the 08 right here, the 08 liner, because this pen is annoying, man, this 03. I need a thicker pen. I don't know what I'm going to do in my next drawing, what kind of pen I'm going to use. Yeah, this camera is pretty awesome for sure. I really like this camera. It's pretty cool. Hey man, love from Wales, UK. Your tutorials and concepts are super helpful. Thank you. Be well and stay safe in this crazy time. Back at you, man. I appreciate it. Stay safe for sure. Stay safe for sure. Hope everybody stays safe and healthy and makes it through all this craziness we're going through. So this is a challenging part, leaving these gaps and stuff for the water. And going only up and down. I'm really challenging myself to just go only up and down. You can see I'm kind of squiggling sometimes because it's hard to, I just want to do horizontal lines, but I know I should stay vertical to go with the rest of the drawing. So we're going to start darkening some of this. Yeah, I'm definitely going to get a cup to put these in, but I think it's the paper. I think the paper like destroys the tip of these pins or something. Something's happening, and I don't like it. Yeah, it writes fine on my finger. It writes fine, dark. Then when I do it on the paper, it feels very rough. The ink's not coming out. So it's something about this toned paper it doesn't like. It's very rough, I guess. I mean, it's smooth. It feels smooth, but see what that looks like. That's pretty cool. Getting somewhere slowly. I don't know that I'm gonna do like all the water or anything, but I'm just gonna suggest little bits of water around it, you know. Just try to give more of the environment that it's in. I want to try to get the reflection of the neck. I think that's kind of an important aspect of this drawing. To some extent. So I'm just kind of abstracting the bottom. I mean, it almost looks like grass or something, but just because it's vertical, it's all vertical. But just trying to create the illusion of reflections. Just very loosely. Like I said, I mean, I'm just experimenting with the whole thing being vertical lines. So this is all just experiment. It's almost like a version of stippling, because you know, like with stippling, you use only dots the whole time. And for me, I'm using only vertical lines, so it's almost like a form of, I don't know what you even call it, it's just a form of shading, you know, but it's just kind of interesting to think of it that way. Oh man, this pen feels so annoying. It's just not giving me the ink that I want. I think my next drawing I'm going to use the 08 and switch to a thicker lined pen and be able to get a lot darker, a lot easier. So I hope you guys have been enjoying the stream. Well, let me see, we got some questions here. Who's your favorite artist? That's always a tough question, man. I don't know that I have one anymore. You know, there's a few artists that I like. They're all dead for the most part. Yeah. Of course, like John Singer Sargent, a really good influence, really great influence on me. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's a hard question to answer nowadays. I learned to draw from your videos, started about 6 months ago from the basic. Now I'm improving very well. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Glad to hear. Hi, Susan says, hi Brandon, I have a watercolor question. All right, cool. Let's see what this is. Do you typically paint wet on wet or wet on dry? The swan is looking nice, by the way. Birds are my favorite subjects to draw. Well, I typically do a mixture of both, depending on what I'm going for. So a lot of the times I do paint wet on dry, but there are definitely times when wet on wet is necessary, when you need things to like blend together. It's definitely useful, definitely necessary. But yeah, probably wet on dry. A lot of what I do is wet on dry. But wet on wet is very useful as well, of course. So it's always a mixture, you know. Mixture of techniques is what is going to give you what you're looking for, I think, mostly. I'm going to zoom this out here in a second. We'll see if it's coming together. Or we can see how it's coming together, rather. See how much more I need to do to it realistically before I can just call it finished. I think I'm pretty close to just calling it finished. You know, I don't want to spend forever on this water and get all detailed. I just want to make sure I'm getting the value the way I want. So let's zoom this out. There we go. It's kind of cool. You know, I'm debating if I should add just that little bit of white on the wings with the white pen and on the head. And maybe a little bit in the water. It could look cool for this drawing, actually. And maybe back here. It might be pretty cool looking if I added that white pen. For anyone that came in late, I'll show you guys what I drew earlier. And this is where I kind of got this idea to do it this way. I drew this earlier today before the stream. And this is a seagull. So this is kind of what I did earlier, and kind of the same hatching technique. I went up and down the whole way. And when I first started the drawing, I had the idea of doing white on the head because the whole seagull was white and it was all lit up. And then by the time I finished the shading, I was like, wow, that looks really cool. I don't want to touch it because I don't want to ruin it. But you can see how I varied the line work here in some areas. I just had very dynamic kind of line work, and that's what I'm trying to do with the one right now that I'm working on. So that's kind of what I'm going for with this swan, and I'm kind of struggling a little bit. I think it needs something. I'm not exactly sure. Trying to get more of the dynamic lines in here a bit. But yeah, I think I'm pretty much done with this. Almost done. I mean, some of this could go a lot darker, you know, down here. But I'll be here all day if I keep with this pen. The way this pen is kind of dying on me right now, and I'm kind of afraid to switch to a thicker. I could use the O2. Let's use the O2. I'll still get. It'll probably give me the same amount of ink or more. There we go. That feels a lot better. Feels like brand new because I haven't really used this one. So it's a little bit thinner, but I'm getting more ink, you know, I'm getting more ink out of it. And it's just, it feels so much better. Okay. Heavy in the foreground and light in the background. It helps to watch you draw that. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's kind of how it is on the photo. So I'm kind of just emulating that. I'm just going. And that's kind of a good rule to follow, you know, or general guideline. Like things are going to be darker if they're closer to you. And they'll be lighter in the distance. So, but I'm really just going with the photo. Like it's light back there. So I'm just I'll keep that light. So yeah, that's why I'm debating if I should add the white pen in here. I don't know if it's going to ruin it or not. It might give it that little sparkle that it needs because it's just a few areas. I don't know. What do you guys think? Should I try to push it or should I keep it like this, like that seagull that I just showed you guys? Taking a poll in the chat here. What do you guys think? You know, I think either way it might look good, but yeah, this one it just feels like it's a different kind of lighting than that seagull, so obviously it's a little bit different, you know, and maybe I need to darken some of this side of the swan just to really simplify these shadows a bit more. Really push the contrast. So I think it's coming out pretty well. It's pretty cool. It's really different style. It's an interesting style to play around with. Keep it as is. Maybe just add a little bit of white on the water. Yes, nice. Exactly. That's the thing, you know. It's all personal that's what it comes down to. It's personal preference, you know. Yeah, I think I'm gonna leave it as is. I don't think I'm gonna touch the white pen. Even though like the whole reason I use this tone paper is so I can use like white and black, you know, sometimes, but I don't know, I feel like the white pen right now is just be a little too much, Still just trying to get dark right underneath here. I think once I feel I gotten dark enough under here, like I'm gonna be, this will be done, pretty sure. I think I'm pretty much there, probably. I'm probably just overworking it. Yeah, I mean, this water is definitely tricky because of all these. I have to leave the negative space for the shapes in the water, and that's like the way I'm shading is like super hard to do that. It's like very difficult, so struggling with that a bit, but I'm not too, like I said, I'm just not too worried about the water. It's more just a value to kind of ground it in something. But I think this is looking pretty nice. I think I kind of like this. Now that I've pushed the contrast more, I really like how it's coming out. I'm actually surprised. Yeah, I don't know, folks. I think we're there. Um, yeah. Can you plan a video using the white? Yeah, I mean, I used white in the last two videos, the 2 days before. 2 days, last night and the night before. But I could definitely try to figure out something where, I have these two different methods of using white. So I have this thicker white thing, and then I have this smaller regular white pen. So yeah, I'll have to try to figure out, maybe I'll draw like a penguin or something that's white and black and could be kind of cool. Yeah, this water was actually definitely difficult. I don't know if it was much of a lesson for the water. It's just kind of just focus on the value and shape. But it's definitely tricky. I mean, there's a million ways to handle this kind of water. I could have actually sat there and drawn it. But like I said, I was going for a specific technique of like doing this kind of hatching up and down the whole way. And I think it came out pretty well. It's kind of cool. Looks pretty cool. But yeah, anyway, folks, I don't really know what else there is to say. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions before I get off here, let me know. I'm just gonna try to bring back some of the line work here. I'm still a little sad about the line work on this one. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like I'm missing something here with the line work, the outlining. go. Maybe that's a little bit better. This kind of reminds me of, like, looking out on the screen. It reminds me of one of those old illustrations you see, like in an old book or something, when they do that kind of interesting line technique. I'm not sure exactly how they do that stuff, but or what it's called, but I'm definitely not as good as those illustrations, but it just kind of has that same similar look just because of the lines going. You know, you can see the lines, and the lines are creating the value and the shading and stuff. It's kind of weird. It's pretty interesting. Sign it. Well, I mean, if I sell it or something, I'll sign it, but it's in my sketchbook, so I don't really worry about signing it in my sketchbook for the most part. I probably should do that, though. Do you use line techniques? I'm not really sure what you mean by that. I mean, the whole thing is nothing but lines, but I'm not sure what you mean by line techniques. Do you use multiple techniques? I mean, for this, I just went up and down the whole time. So that's kind of one technique I use. I mean, there's a bunch of different ways I could have done this or have done it in the past, but when's the next one? I don't know. It could be tomorrow night or the night or the weekend or tomorrow night, night after. I don't know. Are your last 2 videos available to watch? Yeah, they should be. They should be up and available. I think other people have watched them. Just check out the channel page. Should be up there. Like, I drew a seagull on one of them, and then I drew my cat, the other one. So, yeah. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I mean, I think this is pretty much done. I mean, do you guys have any other suggestions for this? I think it's pretty much there. I mean, I don't know how better I can make it or how much more I can push it. So, yeah, I think I like how this turned out. Actually, there needs to be some shadowing right here. Just doing some last minute detailing here, just kind of making sure I got my bases covered for some of the subtlety of things happening. Yeah, I think that's good. I think that's good. Actually, I'm gonna darken this slightly, just a bit. There we go. Okay. All right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed this. Hope you enjoyed this episode, and stay tuned. Maybe tomorrow or the next day or something, I'll try to do another one. And yeah. Hope everybody has a good day as well. Thanks for tuning in, and I'm gonna go get some dinner, and I'll see you guys in the next video, next episode. Take care of yourself, stay safe, stay healthy, and all that stuff. Keep on drawing and don't get discouraged. You know, have fun, live life, make mistakes. There we go. And yeah, there's one last look, a little close up of some of it, of my Swan buddy here. So pretty cool. So yeah, all right, guys, take it easy. Peace.